Recently, Mark and I had the pleasure of being on the Tim Ridley radio show on SiriusXM Channel 146. It's a channel dedicated to trucking industry, and it's called Road Dog Trucking, all about trucking talk. It's a 24-hour talk radio channel focused on news, information, and entertainment for truckers. You're probably wondering, how the heck did Mark and Sue end up on a truck-talking radio show? We'll explain that in this video. Anyway, you can hear Tim's show live weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. Eastern Time every weekday. And that's right, I said a.m. and it's live. We will assume most of you are not awake at that time. So we recorded our talk with Tim. And here we are at 5:30 a.m. on Tuesday, April 29th, 2025.
5 minutes to call.
That's right.
Which will be on this phone. Not to be confused with that phone. Not to be confused with that camera. Not to be confused with that backup camera.
Mark has had coffee already this morning. Can you tell? Usually he's not up for another 4 hours.
So, today we're filming the segment that we're going to be on a podcast, a Sirius Radio podcast, and the show is Road Dog Trucking. Now, we met Tim Ridley, who, as unbelievable as it sounds, watched the channel and ended up saying hi to us when he was getting his rig fixed at National Indoor RV and said, "Hey, I'd love to have you on the show." And we, of course, immediately sucked up and said, yes, we would love to be on it. So here we are, 5:27. Unbelievable excitement on the OGM channel. But theoretically, in 2 minutes, we're supposed to get a call. Yes, you'll notice this nice stand I have. In the past, I've used a Metamucil jar, which is a little taller. But I didn't want people to see that. Think I'm stupid, so I've kind of hidden
That's
that.
not what they're going to think, hon.
Okay.
Mark and Sue Chandler, hello.
Howdy, how are you doing?
Good morning, Dre.
See you later. We'll be back on the other side with Mark and Sue, our honorary road dogs, and we will be welcoming them to the family. This is Tim Ridley on SiriusXM.
And now, back to the Tim Ridley Show.
It is 36 minutes past the hour, and this is Tim Ridley on SiriusXM 146. And it is time for our friends and our new honorary road dog brother and sister, our family member, Mark and Sue. I should say family members. Mark and Sue are with us, and they take you throughout North America as they travel in their 43-foot diesel pusher motorhome. You can catch them during their travels, and they'll take you along with them on their YouTube channel, Our Journey in Myles. And we'll get to the Myles part in just a little bit. Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tim. How are you today?
Good morning.
I am doing great, brother. How about you?
Well, other than being up at 5 in the morning with the rest of the Road Dog crew, we're doing good.
I hope you and Sue have a lot of coffee. Sue, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and yes, the coffee has been consumed. We're ready.
Well, that's great, and I would like to take this moment to welcome you and Mark to the Road Dog family. We're so happy to have you, and we certainly appreciate all that you do out there, and also taking everybody along with you on your journey. I mentioned getting back to Myles, but before we go any further, Sue, let me state this first to our listeners, to our road dogs out there. Myles, you would automatically think is miles, just like you run you're traveling miles, M-I-L-E-S, but Myles in this case is M-Y-L-E-S, which is the name of their RV. Sue, we've had this topic before. I guess it was probably within the last few years anyway, of naming our vehicles. Most people do name the vehicles. They name the name the cars, the pickup trucks, their rigs. So how did Myles come about?
First of all, Mark would say we need it to be a man's name because it's a diesel.
Yeah,
so we went,
baby.
and we were playing with names for actually our YouTube channel and stuff, and it just kind of fell in place. Myles, a little play on words.
Yeah. If we could do it over again, Tim, we probably would have named our channel different, because I have to confess to all your listeners that doing this YouTube thing that was a hobby has sort of turned into an addiction. We love sharing our travels. We love taking folks along. And, when the day comes, I'm 73 years old, when the day comes that I can't drive or I don't want to drive, we're going to still want to do something, and we're still going to want to do traveling. And if we end up doing it on cruise ships, our journey in Myles is going to be a little tough to explain.
Yeah, you might want to seek that out. But if this makes you feel any better, you're a young 73, would you believe that we have a few of our road dogs out there who are still driving in their 80s?
Wow, good for them. Every time we run across RVers that are in their 80s, and we even traveled with one couple on a caravan. He was 90, she was 88, and they were still driving around with caravans.
Yeah.
That's our inspiration. That's our motivation to keep on going.
Absolutely. And Mark, I understand that you are a retired engineer. So when did RVing actually enter your mind? Was it before retirement, or was it after retirement?
As unbelievable as it sounds, Sue and I never had a tent. We never had a pull behind, a bumper pull, anything. And as retirement started to approach, we had this wonderful home, this wonderful network of friends. We were avid bike riders with a big group. And yet we kind of had this feeling in the back of our minds that we wanted to do something different and slightly more exciting when we retired. And out of the blue, I had a long-term high school friend that drove from San Francisco and kind of surprised us with a phone call one day and said, "Hey, I'm driving my RV from San Francisco to Boston for a wedding, and I'd like to stop in and see you." And we said, "Well, yeah, sure." And we didn't know the mechanics of it. But he ended up parking on the boulevard that we lived on, and we ended up sitting in his Class A the entire day, just laughing and commiserating and talking and snacking and eating. And by the time they left, 5 or 6 hours later, they had changed the direction of our life for the good. Before he left, I got to drive his old Rexall Class A. And from that moment on, we started discussing getting an RV, and it progressed to where we are right now.
That's an awesome story right there. So that was your inspiration to do what you're doing right now. Sue, so this brings me to this question. Whose idea was it to sell your home? Because you guys sold your home and just went all in.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to sell your home and go full time? And also, was it scary for you?
Any change is kind of scary. Mark and I had been through 2 divorces, a lot of life changes, things going on. But when his friend was here, Mark started digging deep. He's a researcher. He's a mechanical engineer. He's got to know all the details. He started researching Class A's and that. And one day he said, "Did you know some people actually live full time in these things?"
Yikes.
Yeah, no kidding. So he actually did the research, and he said, "Do you think you'd be up for that?" I think that's the attraction between the two of us. We have this yearn for adventure and stuff, and I'm like, I was not attached to any of my material stuff, the home. We had a beautiful home. We had been in it for about 5 years, and I said, I'm good. Let's try it. Let's see what it's all about. So it was a little scary, and yet we just jumped right into it.
Well, and this is Mark, and for me, the continued push was the fact that right around the time when we were leading up to our retirement, my dad ended up going in an assisted care and eventually a nursing home facility. And I always tell folks that I'd go visit my dad, and I would be staring at him, and it would be like looking in a mirror. He he was like a better looking version than I am now. And I would think, boy, I really wish he had a better quality of life. And then I start thinking back. I started counting the years back in my mind. When did he actually do things and have fun and enjoy his in retirement? And I came to the conclusion that he never really switched on a different life after he quit his working years of like 45 years. And so he also was my inspiration to do something different. I am fortunate that I'm married to a wonderful gal who we have great conversations that never are arguments. They truly are discussions, and we can help each other come to different conclusions many times, because I think people immediately don't want to, go on the road and disrupt their life on something like this. But we talked it through, and it was something we were both on board for.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, but that's great. We're going to pull over and take us a quick break. But Mark, I'm going to leave you with this question before we go into the break, and you can answer this question on the other side. But you drive a 2014 Newmar Dutch Star 4369. Which is of course, a Class A diesel pusher. And you and Sue passionately love this coach. You and Sue also travel the country with our road dogs. You fuel at the truck stops with our road dogs. So the question, Mark, for you is, does driving a 43-foot diesel coach make you feel a connection with our truck drivers out there? So we'll get to that. You can answer that on the other side of these messages. Mark and Sue are with us. Their YouTube channel is Our Journey in Miles. Mark, I've heard you say that real men drive diesel. Does driving a 43-foot diesel coach make you feel a connection with our truck drivers out there?
Yes, I love the smell of diesel in the morning, I can tell you that. All kidding aside, you would be a fool not to watch the drivers out there that are wheeling something that's bigger, longer, and heavier than you. And I have, over the years, seen how some of these guys or gals actually, take the turns wide. They patiently wait for the right room. Maybe they'll crowd the left lane a little bit before they dive that right-hand turn. We make certain when we go into the truck stops, for instance, that we follow the protocol of don't fool around, get in there, take it seriously so you can get out of the way for the folks that are actually earning a living doing this. Pull ahead, or right after we're done fueling. But one of the important things we always do is we divide up our jobs, and Sue will actually watch which way the preponderance of the drivers are going, because some of these fuel stops are confusing. So, we take the lead from them. And of course, when we're driving in traffic, we'll flash the lights in heavy traffic when we see that the drivers need to duck in as soon as they pass you. And when we get any help to get in a spot, of course, flash the lights. So it's kind of a dance. We're kind of honored and humbled to be part of the team.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sue, you and Mark have been all over North America in your coach. Do you have a unique story of your travels to share that comes to mind? And also, what do you enjoy most about this lifestyle?
I'll start with the last question. The thing I love the most is that we are learning the United States. We're learning its histories, its geography. We've been in crowded downtowns. We've been out in national parks. I like the fact that it gives us an opportunity to do so many things. Probably the unique part is because our home is on wheels, we can move. And the most unique story for me, anyways, is during COVID. We're from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My daughter and her husband are living there, and she's just had my first grandson. And all of a sudden, the shutdown comes. Well, my son-in-law is a surgeon, and they were moving out to California, LA area, for about a year for him to do a fellowship in surgical oncology. So here they've got this brand new baby. They're moving across country. The country has been shut down. And the fact that we had wheels on our home, we followed them. So we were able to go all the way out there. We parked not too far from them, and I was able to spend the first 6 months of my grandson's life helping my daughter as a new mom and stuff like that. So, just being, having your convenience of your home and being able to go wherever you want, I think that is probably the best thing of this lifestyle for me anyway.
Yep. Yeah, that's really awesome. And you're right, having your home with you, you can pick up, and you're mobile. You can pick up and go to wherever you need it. In that case, your daughter, you want to be out there with your daughter and your new grandchild and also her husband. So to be able to help. So that means a whole lot right there. Mark, we've been talking about your 43-foot diesel coach. That's a Class A, huge. It's a huge vehicle, and you pull a minivan behind it. So what was it like? You and Sue hadn't had any prior RVing before jumping in.
Right.
And you jumped in. And I don't know if you want to say head first or feet first.
Yeah.
Most people don't start off with a large Class A diesel pusher. So was it challenging to you the first time getting behind the wheel of it?
I would have to admit it was. I had a little pre-training. When I was in high school, I worked at a gas station that was pretty macho, and we had a lot of big wreckers for towing in cars. So my boss trusted me enough to hook a car to the hook, and that was back in the day when the car was actually hanging from cables, with a tow bar in between you. So I learned to back up that way. Maybe the biggest trucks I drove were maybe 26 or 30-foot box trucks, U-Haul trucks. But when we did dive in feet first, I got the idea that maybe that my road dog best man, Jerry, might be an asset to bring along to pick my RV up. Now, Jerry is a professional driver, and he works at a 3-driver hub that does the work of probably a 8-driver team. I would actually say Jerry probably accounts for 6 of the drivers because he's such a hard worker. But I took him along, and we drove from Milwaukee to Indiana, right across the Illinois line. We picked my RV up. We drove around in the parking lot a little bit with Jerry giving me some tips. And Jerry said, Mark, you bought this thing. I'm going to be in the passenger seat, which is the most terrifying seat in the house on a Class A. And he said, and I'll give you my advice and tips and tricks, but we got one shot for you to learn how to drive this baby. And by the time we get back to Milwaukee, if it's all in one piece, you'll be anointed as a driver. And that's the way we did it, and I'm really thankful for Jerry.
We love our road dog, Jerry. We love all you guys. Plus, he took us around Chicago. That was crazy.
And he took me for my first fuel stop, so I didn't feel like a poser,
Yeah.
Wow, baptized by fire. Yeah, you really got indoctrinated.
Big time, yeah.
I can imagine you probably were holding on to the wheel pretty tight, weren't you, Mark?
Actually, the Dutch Star, the Newmar Dutch Star with the comfort drive and with the assurance of Jerry sitting in the passenger seat, we had our wives in the car in back of us on camera. They filmed the whole thing from the back. So I don't know. I don't remember being terrified. I do remember thinking that if this is as nerve-wracking as driving is going to be forever, my career might be short. And in RVing, and I've learned that you just have to travel in the right area. We just came back from an East Coast Adventure Caravan
Or
has
organized RV guided tours.
Yeah, and we just came back from that out east, and I'm glad we had manuals and guidance from the caravan company. I don't think we'll be going to the East Coast anytime soon. We prefer and love driving out west.
More open space.
Yeah, that's for sure. More open space. Well, Sue, you gave us an example of being mobile and unique, and part of your unique stories and the lifestyle. Many of our truck drivers spend several weeks, even months at a time on the road before going home. So balancing work, family, and work life can be difficult. So how do you and Mark balance enjoying the RV lifestyle and seeing family?
Right, yeah. So we're from Milwaukee, and we come back every summer, early summer or late summer, but we're always back for family, friends, doctor's appointments, that sort of thing. And we'll stay about 3 months, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. But when we're on the road, can't beat FaceTime for sure. You know, talking with my mom when she wasn't doing well, and I'm always in contact with my daughter. But I did mention to Mark when we started this whole lifestyle that I am so in. It sounds like an adventure, but I'm really close with my daughter. And I said, if they start having babies, my heartstrings are really going to be pulled tight. So, and they are right now. So when my grandson was born, now I've got a little granddaughter. It seems like we've got a nice rhythm. It's like every 3 months, we'll find a place that we can park for a while. Mark will be happy doing whatever he wants, being a bachelor, basically, staying awake till 4 in the morning. Yeah. But every 3 months, I fly back and I'll stay with my daughter from 10 days to 2 weeks. This last time I was there with other things going on over a month. But I'll fly back every 3 months to fill my heart, and then I fly back to where Mark is, and we continue the adventure.
And I think that's the key, Tim, is that if you're going to do this part-time, sometime, full-time, whatever, the guy has to realize, or the gal, whichever one needs to be fulfilled with seeing their family more often, if you don't make the person feel like they're spending, the family coffers, by jumping on a plane and staying with the family, that's of no consequence to me at this point. And it keeps Sue energized. I can tell you that she'll come back from visiting the family, and many times she's like, yeah, I was kind of itching to get going, because maybe then we're jumping in the vehicle and maybe that's the beginning of another caravan for us, or we're going to,
new adventures.
Yeah, Mount Rushmore or something. So it really works for us.
Well, that's great. Well, before we part the airways, Mark and Sue, again, your YouTube channel is Our Journey in Myles, and that's MYLES. And our Road Dog brothers and sisters, make sure you go over there and like, subscribe, and welcome Mark and Sue to our wonderful family. And Mark, or even Sue, do you have any other platforms, social media-wise?
Well, we do have a website, and that's the same name. It would be ourjourneyinmiles.com, Myles spelled M-Y-L-E-S.
We're on Instagram, and we now have a Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah.
So thanks for having us, Tim.
Yeah,
Mark,
thanks for having us.
It's been a pleasure. We certainly appreciate you. And again, welcome to the family.
Yeah, thanks. Safe travels out there, Road Dogs.
Take it easy, you lovely couple. Y'all were awesome. Appreciate you.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Bye-bye. How'd we do, honey?
Really good.
Did we?
Shake my hand.
Oh.
Really good.
How about a kiss? We're still on camera.
Oh, we are. You did good, baby.
What a great wife. All righty.
It's easy when you have a great husband.
Yep. And it's Road Dog on Sirius Radio.
Can we go back to bed? Of course, I had coffee.
No.
Let's get this day started.
Okay, let me start this here.